I got my drink and my laptop. Yeah, look at that. I mean, both of them blue, different blue, but still vibe. Okay.
Now loading.
So good. Recently, I've seen a lot of content where people talk about their own experiences working in Korean offices or Korean culture. And some of those experiences are negative, some of those are positive. And today in this video, I would like to talk about my own experience, what I've learned so far. And I have been living here in Korea for 9 years. And so far, I worked for 4 different companies. And I would like to talk about the things that I learned so far. And if your experience was different, it's your experience, opinions are different. So yeah, let's get started. The first one, teamwork is everything. In Korean working culture, teamwork is extremely important, and it's more group oriented than individual focused one. And actually companies, they invest a lot in teamwork. For example, my company, they give us a budget so we can create a club, so it can be exercising, reading, writing, golf, hiking, and so on. So after that, we eat together, we talk, we chat, and the most important thing, we learn patterns about people. So those patterns actually cannot be learned while you work inside the company during the work. So for example, some people like to work fast, some people like to work slow, or some people like to message, some people do not like to message. And those patterns honestly can be seen outside of the work. And for me, these activities helped me a lot, because when I go back to the office, it's easier for me to go to a person and then talk to them and then work in a team, and workflow actually is very smooth for me.
Yay!
Okay, so the next one can be a bit controversial, but working hours depends on the person. I said what I said. So I've seen a lot of content online, especially negative, where they talk about toxic Korean working culture, especially long working hours. But I do believe that it really depends on a person and on a company. So before judging, people have to understand that Korean working culture is very people driven. So because of that, there is a strong work ethic. So people are very competitive. So they work extra long hours to be more competitive and do their job better. So for me, especially now, I'm working in overseas sales in the field of engineering, and this is quite challenging for me. And when I choose to stay overtime, I do it because maybe a client waiting for my response, or maybe other teams are waiting for my response. So this is 100% my choice. I just stay extra hour or 2 hours to be more competitive, or to be ready for the next day, or prepare all for my task for the next day. But again, if you had different experience, it's your experience. But what I want to say is that experiences and opinions can be different everywhere. So the next one is not a big surprise. It's a language. So language is more important than you think. Let's say here in Korea, you work for an international company, but Korean language is very important. So for me, at first, I thought that English would be enough for me. So I'm gonna survive with English, but I was so wrong. This is because people feel more comfortable and connected when they speak in their native language. And this is very natural everywhere. It's natural for me, it's natural for you, it's natural for all people all around the world. So that's why language is very important. Even though your coworker speaks the best English, that deep communication still happens in Korean. And another point is that it's not just language, it's honestly connection. And I've seen a lot of people complaining online how Koreans cannot speak very well English, blah blah blah. But let me tell you one thing, if you want to stay here, live and work in Korea, it's your great responsibility to learn the language as soon as possible. And yeah, as I've mentioned it, it's all about the connection. So when you know the language, you know the culture, you know the small details, you know the people, you know the habits. So these things can be very hard to learn from books or K-dramas or K-movies. So I think language is very, very important. And this part of me actually elevated my work flow, my work efficiency a lot. It's easier for me to go and then communicate with them. So the next one is not only about Korean working culture, but also it surrounds the whole Korean society, I would say. So relationships take time to be built. I know it sounds very cliche, it might be very common or general for you, but I learned this while working in Korean office. So before working, my communication style, I would say, was more like Americanized. I used to have small talk all the time, chit-chatting, having like a lot of people around me. But when I started working in Korean office, I thought that I would have a work bestie where I would just come to the office and then share my everyday life and then chit chat. I mean, like, it's still possible, but in Korean office, it's not that fast happening process. So it happens step by step, by slowly. And this is because Koreans, they appreciate the quality over the quantity. So for them, it's very important to spend a quality time with a person than having several friends in their group. So I learned this, and this lesson actually has taught me a lot. So as I get older, I started getting the idea why having only one or two friends are very important, because you're gonna have that like deep connection. And this lesson has taught me that how to find a balance between a friendship, a relationship, and work. So the next one is actually related to the previous one, and I would like to touch up a little bit on Korean communication styles in offices. So communication style is quite indirect in offices. So for example, people rarely come up to you and then give negative comments on your work or on your performance. For example, they never say that you're doing this wrong, you're doing a very bad job, or don't do this instead, never. But instead, they try to speak indirectly or using the less negative words when they give any comments to your work. And this actually rooted back to the Confucianism, where people believe that keeping your social face is very important by avoiding anything negative or giving bad comments to the people. And for me, at the beginning, it was quite confusing. I struggled a bit about this point, but the more you live, the more you connect with people, the more you experience the things, you start to learn how to communicate with people indirectly. And a lot of people may think that, oh my god, sounds so ineffective, it's gonna be such a time wasting experience, but it's not. I don't know how to explain, but Koreans, they master this type of communication. I don't know, they don't need to speak to your face directly, but you can kind of read people's mind by looking at their faces, by looking at their tone, or by looking at their body language. And for me, actually, this is a very positive thing. So by working and living with Koreans, I also learned how to read people without asking questions. And this actually helped me a lot to be more proactive, honestly. So I don't need to go them and then ask questions. I usually know what may ask or what they are expecting from me. So yeah, these are the things that I learned while working in Korean company. Of course, these are my personal experiences, and experiences can be different depending on people, personality traits, company, and environment. But these are the lessons that I've learned so far. I learned how to adjust, how to process, and I learned how to communicate, talk to people, and honestly, I'm still learning. If you have more questions or if you have any interested topics that I would like to cover, please let me know in the comment section. Thank you for watching. Bye.